Hi, I'm Nils Posegga, and today I'm going to continue the video series for the new drill-down concept in SmartAnalytics. In the first video I have introduced the concept and the basic functions of the new drill-down workspace. Now I will show some hands-on experience for a voice drill-down. The data we are looking at is from our campaign in Dallas, US from beginning of the year. First I move SmartAnalytics into full screen mode to use the maximum space available on my screen. And I have loaded the full data set of the Dallas campaign. And in order to do the drill down, I need to narrow down to the problematic areas I would like to analyze. And a good starting point for this is the network performance score. The overall results showing T-Mobile in the lead with the highest score, while the breakdown to voice and data is showing a clear lead for data for T-Mobile, but for voice, T-Mobile is falling a bit behind the competition. We need to admit that the voice results for all operators are on a very high level. Still, there's some room for improvement for T-Mobile, and this is what I would like to look at now. Checking the contributing voice KPIs, I can see that the call drop ratio and the call setup success ratio for T-Mobile is on the last place. So I can assume that some failed and dropped calls are in the game here, and this I would like to analyze. And the way to proceed for failed and drops usually is root cause analysis. So I further want to narrow down my data set to T-Mobile failed and dropped calls. So in the level 1 voice workspace, in the overview, I can see that the majority of the calls are VoLTE calls. So I'm going to restrict my data set to VoLTE calls, and as I would like to analyze T-Mobile, I can also filter to T-Mobile. In order to get my failed and drop calls, I can use the call status to filter exactly these calls I would like to analyze. When I hold down the Shift key while selecting these two items, SmartAnalytics gives me a filter containing call status, dropped and failed calls. Now I have 23 calls in my data set, and this is narrowed down enough to move down to the drill down. And this can easily be done in SmartAnalytics by applying the level 2 drill down button. So now SmartAnalytics is moving from level 1 voice to level 2 UI drill down analysis. So I'm in my new drill down workspace. As I'm going to stay here for the rest of the video, I can decrease now the navigation panel to further save some disk space. In the last video, I explained the concept of the workspace with the purple data selection part, which has the main goal of reducing the list of sessions and tests for my current drill down analysis tasks, which is checking T-Mobile failed and dropped calls. With my data reduction activity from level 1, which we have taken over with the filters to level 2, I'm already done with the data selection, and I can move on to the analysis part, which is presented here in green. In order to do so, I can double click on a session, and SmartAnalytics will move to the analysis area, which is now content sensitive to the selected session or test. I selected a session in this case because we have a failed call, and the failed call per definition does not include any tests, as no speech transmission happens. So now I have the necessary analysis tabs for voice and the related technology. And also SmartAnalytics detects that scanner measurements have been conducted with along with the UI tests, and also presenting this here. The time focus, also according to the concept, is now set to this very session. Okay, let's look to the info tab and the system trace log. We can see that we have failed call fails at this time, and we also can see that there are some zip invite errors, so problems in the zip. So this is something which we definitely should look at, and I would like to start at the point where the call is initiated. So for a failed call, it does not make sense to look at IMS call and speech quality, as these tabs are related to successful established call with ongoing speech transmission, which we don't have in this case. So I'm going to check the radio in order to understand why the call is not established. As I'm analyzing this session, I can also now remove the test and session panel. This saves me some additional screen space, and I can fully concentrate on my analysis. So, checking the radio, we can see that at the beginning of the call, we have quite bad radio signal, and which recovers after a handover to quite acceptable, or let's say even good radio. We're talking about minus 80 dBm, and also we can see that the quality at the end of the call is good. Before this handover, it has been on a low level, further decreasing until the UE triggers the handover. So this is some indication saying, okay, at the beginning we had bad signal strength and also not the best signal quality. This can be an indication for our problem. But let's check the signaling, the layer 3 signaling, and especially the zip, and look what happens during this call. So we have the UE is triggering the zip invite, and the network is processing this session in progress, and shortly afterwards we get 2 times the zip invite service unavailable message. So this is a release course triggered in downlink by the network. This indicates that we have a core issue here, potentially triggered by the handover that happened, but definitely at this point the core network is not ready to take the call. Let's shortly check the B side. What happens here? Session in progress. And here we also get in downlink a zip cancel request with the cause zip service unavailable. So here we can be sure that it's really the network sending both involved parties the cancel request with service unavailable, which proves that this session need to be classified as a core network issue. I hope you liked the video and it was useful, and stay tuned for the next video, which will include some hands-on for data drill down.